In 1984, Los Angeles hosted the Olympics for the second time. But this event was different. It made money. That's something no other host city has done since. So how did LA manage to achieve this? And what can we learn from it as the city gets ready for the 2028 games? We'll take a look back at 1984 to see how LA used what it already had to turn the Olympics into a success. Hosting the Olympics is a huge honor, but it often leaves cities with big bills to pay afterward. Many struggle with the costs that keep rising every year, leaving behind financial problems. Let's find out how LA plans to avoid that and make the 2028 Olympics a win for the city and its people. A good example of the financial struggle cities face with the Olympics is the 2020 Tokyo Games, which got delayed to 2021 because of COVID-19. This delay alone added around $3 billion to the costs. With empty stadiums and limited tourism, Japan's economy lost about $1.3 billion. While the pandemic made things worse, it wasn't the only issue. Hosting the Olympics has been financially tough for years. Research from Oxford shows that since 1960, no Olympics has stayed within its original budget. On average, costs go over by 172%, making the Olympics one of the riskiest projects out there. Take the 2012 London Summer Games, for example. They started with a $5 billion budget, but ended up costing $18 billion. The 2014 Sochi Winter Games are the most expensive ever, with costs jumping from $10.3 billion to over $51 billion. But it's not just about overspending. Making enough money to cover these huge expenses is another big challenge. Beijing spent $40 billion on the 2008 Olympics, but only made $3.6 billion in return. London spent $18 billion in 2012, but earned just $5.2 billion. Even the long-term benefits often fall short of what's promised. Hosts are told they'll see more jobs than tourism, but these gains are usually overstated. Many of the jobs are temporary, and tourism often drops after the games. Plus, the new infrastructure like stadiums built for niche sports can become financial burdens due to costly upkeep. This is where Los Angeles shines. The 1984 Summer Olympics in LA ended with a $200 million surplus, something almost unheard of in recent Olympic history. LA kept costs low by using venues that were already built and getting big companies to sponsor the event. This smart approach led to the financial success of the 1984 Olympics and set a new standard for how to host the games. Many believe that LA's success in 1984 is why the city is so well prepared for the 2028 Olympics. With most of the infrastructure already in place and a proven track record, Louisiana doesn't need to build much to ensure another profitable and well-organized event. LA organizers plan to host the 2028 Olympics with a budget of $6.88 billion. While sticking exactly to that budget might be a challenge, there are strong reasons to believe they could come close. Typically, building new Olympic-specific venues like stadiums consumes nearly half of the budget, but LA's already impressive sports infrastructure will be crucial in keeping costs down. As of 2024, the plan is to use existing venues, such as Crypto.com Arena in downtown LA, which will host gymnastics, and SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, where swimming events will take place. This stadium is expected to hold 3,800 spectators, making it the largest swimming venue in Olympic history. The soon-to-be-completed Intuit Dome, the new home of the Los Angeles Clippers, will host all basketball events, while track and field competitions will be held at the LA Memorial Coliseum, the only stadium to host these events in 3 different Olympics. Parts of the opening and closing ceremonies are set to take place at both the Coliseum and SoFi Stadium. Additionally, diving will be held at the John C. Argue Swim Stadium, which also hosted aquatic events in the 1932 Olympics. Archery, BMX racing, freestyle cycling, and skateboarding will take place at the Sepulveda Basin Recreation Center, while other swimming events will be held at the Long Beach Sports Park. By relying on these existing venues, Louisiana has a strong chance of keeping their budget on track while delivering a memorable Olympic Games. Lastly, equestrian events will be held at Galway Downs in Temecula. As a side note, canoe slalom and softball events will take place in Oklahoma City, where existing venues are ready to handle the demand. However, the real challenge, and where the city might face the most issues, is in upgrading the transportation infrastructure. The Selja 28 by 28 inches initiative, launched by former LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, aims to complete 28 infrastructure projects in Los Angeles before the 2028 Olympics. Many of these projects were already in the pipeline but are now being fast-tracked. In 2024, Mayor Karen Bass announced the goal of making the Olympics car-free by encouraging public transit and remote work to reduce congestion. However, as anyone familiar with LA knows, cars and traffic are as much a part of the city as palm trees and sunshine. So the idea of a completely car-free Olympics might be more idealistic than realistic. Funding for these transit projects comes from Measure R and Measure M tax increases, which were approved by voters in 2008 and 2016 and are supposedly unrelated to the Olympics. To meet the demands of the Games, LA 28 organizers estimate that an additional 2,700 buses will be needed, effectively doubling Metro's current fleet. Metro is seeking federal grants and plans to resell the buses after the Olympics to offset costs, which are estimated to be between $700 million and $1 billion. With all these costs, it's crucial for the LA 28 Olympic organizers to maximize revenue. But who's really in charge? The LA 28 Games are independently run by a privately funded nonprofit organization led by Casey Wasserman. Globally, the International Olympic Committee, a Swiss-based nonprofit, oversees every aspect of the Olympics, no matter where they're held. Broadcasting rights usually bring in the most money for the Olympics. This revenue comes from selling the rights to televise the Games to broadcasters around the world. Networks like NBC in the US pay billions for exclusive rights because the Olympics attract massive global audiences. For the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, it's estimated that broadcasting rights made up nearly 73% of the total revenue. Corporate sponsorships are the second largest source of income, with money coming from both global Olympic sponsors and domestic sponsors specific to the host country. Ticket sales are also significant, but usually bring in less than broadcasting and sponsorships. This includes tickets to events, the opening and closing ceremonies, and other Olympic-related activities. A smaller portion of the revenue comes from licensing, merchandise, grants, and donations. To protect against major issues like natural disasters or low turnout, the LA 28 Group plans to purchase substantial insurance packages, all aimed at minimizing financial risks for LA and the rest of the US. After the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, the $200 million surplus was funneled into the LA 84 Foundation, which was created to support youth sports programs in the area. A mission is continued for decades. While LA has a strong advantage with its sports infrastructure, it remains to be seen if the 2028 Olympics can be profitable or even close to it. Hopefully the impact on taxpayers will be minimal, but that might be wishful thinking.